Hello. Oh, come on! Jesus. My phone hates me. What did I ever do to you? Stinking phone. Anyway. 'Tis I, the Crimson Assassin, and I'm here today to give you the anime review for Black Lagoon. So without any further ado, let's get on with it already. Damn, this is like my third time actually redoing this review. Anyway, the story of Black Lagoon follows a man named Rokuro Okajima, as he was a young businessman who wants to make it big in Tokyo, in Japan. So what happened was that one day, due to a sort of incident involving his company, he was sort of captured by these group of people who later on become of use to him, which we'll get to that pretty soon later on. So what ends up happening was that after this sort of incident involving with this company, Rock decides to leave them and join the people who like basically kidnapped them because they were actually starting to have a good relationship. So it's basically the story of Rock and the Lagoon Company, as they do sort of interesting jobs like transporting weapons to a cult or some shit, and really getting involved in other people's business, if you were to say. And what do I really have to say about Black Lagoon? I freaking liked it. It was really good. Let's start off with the pros. Always goes without saying, the animation is really good, really spot on, and where the animation really shines is actually in its intense action scenes. Granted, there were a lot of good animation shots that were actually really good, like shots from the island that they're actually living on, Roanapur, which is like in like somewhere in the coast of Thailand, and it's a really interesting place. It's basically the home of criminals and bad guys and shit like that. Like the kind of people that you don't want to mess with is in that island. What I really like about this anime was the fact that it shows another side of characters that we haven't really seen before in an anime. Alright? Going to one of the characters, Revi. Revi was an interesting character to the point where you're really interested about her past, and you get, like, little shots of it, but that'll lead into a problem that I have about this anime pretty soon, which we'll get to that also pretty soon, was the fact that, it shows a side that we never really got to see in an anime. Like, she was mainly a delinquent type character, and yet you really got to see the eyes of a cold-blooded killer like Revi. And since we're talking about Revi, I have to say, this girl's a fucking badass. She is just amazing. I liked her character, I liked her style, and I did like her English voice acting. She was amazing. She did an amazing job with the English dub, which we'll also get to that. The English dub is actually really fantastic. I did like the English dub, and if you actually like Death Note, Light Yagami's voice actor did Rock, and he did a stellar job too. I really did like his work. Really great. Now, I really have to get myself oriented here because it has been a while since I've really done an actual review. So let's start off with, again, the characters. We talked about Revi, who's a really good, interesting character, but yet you don't really get to see much about her past. Then we have Dutch, who is another interesting character, and yet another character that we really don't get to see much of. He is interesting, but at the same time, you don't really know much about this character. In fact, you don't know basically almost about any of these characters, why these characters joined the Lagoon Company, what things that they did to mess people up, what were the things that they did to really understand, and okay, let's get this out of the way. Development in this anime sucks. The anime has little to no development with their characters, and I didn't really like that. I wanted to see more of Revi's past, but yet we don't get to see much of Revi's past. Sure, you get to see clips here and there, but that's really about it. That's all you'll get. It's just snippets here and there, and that's it. I did not like what they did with Revi and her past, but yet she's still a stellar, outstanding character. As for Dutch and Benny, much of the same thing. They were badasses, especially Dutch. Not so much Benny, but Dutch. He's a good character, but yet no development with any of their backstories. Now, we'll get into one specific character that really caught my attention, and that's Miss Balalaika, head of Hotel Moscow of the Russian Embassy. She is outstanding. One of the most well-organized women in this entire anime. I never want to fuck with this girl. I don't want to be on her bad side. I don't want to freaking stay near her. She's again the character you want to stay away from. She's definitely that. What this and again, you get to see snippets about who she is, what her past was, and yet you don't really get much development out of this character. She was interesting, and excellent. She's a badass. I don't want to mess with this girl, but yet, again, you don't really get much about her character. Like, what's with it? An anime's job, what's it supposed to do, is indulge you in the characters that are in this anime, giving them development, and you really growing an attachment to these characters. This anime serves little to almost no development, and I did not like that about this anime. The development sucks. The development just fucking outright sucks. The action is really intense. Each action scene almost brought me to the edge of my seat. It was that damn good. The action was sufficed and really outgoing. The action was stellar. Fucking love the action in this anime. And I like how this anime was more catered to adults. Yeah, sure, I'm a teenager. I'm not really supposed to watch that kind of stuff, but there are some serious adult-oriented shit in this anime. Like, you have drugs, you have drinking, you have smoking, you got sex, you got violence, you got blood, you got gore, you got anything adult-oriented is present in this anime. So I think this anime was more catered to adults, which is probably why I really couldn't attach myself to the main character, okay, let's talk about him. I did not really like about the main character. I did not like him at all. I felt like he had no motivation, no drive, no real edge. He was just mainly, again, an unlackluster character. Sure, we're supposed to feel bad about this character, but how can I feel bad about a character who, A, wanted to join them to begin with, and B, he got himself into this mess to begin with, so why should we care about what he does? It's his choice. It's his life. And, of course, it's meant for the adult audiences, so I think adults could really relate to Rock, but personally, I couldn't relate, and I really just did not like his character at all. He was weak, and I did not like it at all. It just sucked. And let's talk about something else that sucked. That ending. That ending was just a lackluster, anticlimactic ending. It just ends right there. That ending was just one of probably the worst endings I've ever seen, next to Soul Eater. That's how bad it was. And it's like, I really couldn't really care about the ending, let alone any of its other characters. The side characters get little to no screen time. They introduce you characters that probably are prominent to the story in the manga, but not really so much in the anime. And again, the side characters were also lacking in major development. Especially this one side character who goes by the name of Edna, who has this sort of relationship with Revi. I don't really understand the relationship. Are they friends? Are they enemies? Do they like each other? Do they not like each other? What is their goal? Why does she act the way she acts? How did they meet? Again, lacking in almost any type of development. It pulls a Noragami and gets you almost little to no development, but probably to an understanding of why they act the way they act. And I can understand that, and that's probably all the development I need to give this anime an 8.5 out of 10. It's great. I like the anime. The anime was great. Go check out Black Lagoon if you have not. It was on Adult Swim at one point, which got me interested in it. And that will conclude this review. Till next time, people, this is the Crimson Assassin, and I am signing out. Peace, YouTube.